So, how are you supposed to know how much AV equipment you need for your next event? Well, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Event Pro Show, your ultimate guide to the world of corporate events. Whether you're a corporate event planner, experiential marketing pro, producer, technician, or anyone involved in creating exceptional events, this podcast is your go-to resource for valuable insights, expert tips, and inspiring stories from the industry's leading professionals.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Event Pro Show. I am your host, Seth Macchi. I'm the CEO of LEMG. We're an event production company based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we focus primarily on producing corporate events all over the country for our clients, which tend to be meeting and event planners. So welcome to part 3 of a series I'm calling Designing a Better General Session. And the purpose of this series is to give actionable tips that you can plug in and elevate your general sessions right now. And we're trying to stay within your current budget. I'm not trying to give you ideas that are just going to blow up your budget. I'm trying to stay economical because in my journey through the years, I talk a lot with event planners, and budget has remained one of the primary concerns with how they do their job and what they're able to do, what they're able to utilize as far as resources. So we are going to focus today on event lighting, screens, and cameras. And we're going to explain that a little bit and how they're utilized for corporate events in particular. And so there seems to be a lot of options when chatting with potential AV companies on what creative elements can be used. You're going to have that conversation if you're working with a good AV company. They're going to want to talk to you, and they're going to want to talk about the different options they have and what you're trying to accomplish. And so I want to give you just a quick overview of what the main components of a corporate event are, so that you know a little bit about what types of lights and video screens and cameras that you might need on your next general session. Now, you're not going to, obviously, this isn't like some comprehensive class so that you are an AV technician by the time you're done with this session. This is just a few-minute session, but I want to give you a little backdrop if it's a little less familiar to you. And so from an AV perspective, AV companies are working to create the most polished experience for your attendees as your budget will allow. And so that's kind of always the goal with an outside AV company that's worth working with. That's always their goal. They're trying to elevate the experience to the degree that that your budget will allow. And so drilling down to determine exactly what's needed to pull that off is of utmost importance to them. So you will get a lot of questions about the event. We just want to provide the right tools and talent for the job at hand. So it doesn't need to be this scary thing. I've talked in previous sessions on how to write a comprehensive RFP for AV services and what you need to put in those RFPs. But I want to give you a few actionable insights into 3 components of a typical event. And this isn't comprehensive, but it tends to be the most complicated. And I could actually add a 4th, which would be audio, but I'm not going to talk about audio today. I'm going to be talking about lighting. I'm going to be talking about video surfaces, and then I'm going to talk about cameras. And so with audio, there's some simple questions that we can get through with that. So let's say you've moved beyond that. But with lighting, an AV company is going to want to know a few things. And a primary thing, at least from how we approach it at LEMG, is we're going to want to know if you want to have, in fact, a video, like a camera component to your event. Is there a reason that you have a camera in the room, and what is the purpose of that camera? So are you going to be doing IMAG, which would be image magnification? There will be times when you take the speaker's image, the person on stage, and put it on the big screens. Are you going to be doing that? If you're going to do that, are you going to be recording the video? And we'll want to know that component of it if you're going to be recording the video. And if you're going to be recording the video, what is the purpose of the video? And you might be recording it, or you might be streaming it, or it might be a broadcast event where it's actually going out live and to different platforms or even TV stations. And so those questions, the answers to those questions drive lighting. So in a basic event, I would recommend at least do some stage wash lighting. These are lights that are just lighting up your presenters from the front. It'll show, light up the front of them so that it's easier to identify them when you're in the room. And you've probably all been in a ballroom when somebody gets on a stage where there's no lighting and it's pretty dark. It's hard to just see them. So stage wash lighting kind of lights up the speakers on stage. Once you add a camera in and you want to record video, then adding backlight is important. And what backlight does is it separates your speaker when you're recording in video from kind of the back wall or the backdrop. It gives some sort of separation behind them so that you can kind of see how they're standing out from the back. So that's a traditional lighting setup where you have front light with your stage wash and it kind of fills, and then you also have a backlight. Other lighting needs, basic needs, would be uplighting. This is very common where you have uplighting on maybe the backdrop of the stage, or you extend it to be the whole back wall behind the stage, or you have uplighting around the room. And this can add a lot of special, like kind of tie-in branding colors. It makes it feel a little more elegant, kind of a richer color experience in the room. And then you move into things like moving light fixtures that our lighting engineer can create moving experiences with the lighting, where it's actually pushing light up into the ceiling or on the walls or even on the stage itself. They can also have geometric patterns with it or different types of movements with those lighting. And that gets into more of, if you think of like the last great music event you went to, and they're using a lot of moving lights to add different looks and feels at different points in the show. And it can get more complex from there. So that's kind of what we're looking at on a basic level with lighting, and the type of questions that you'll be asked kind of speak to that. And so then it's a matter of how large the room is, how many people are there, how big of a space are you trying to fill with lighting. That'll speak to how many light fixtures that you put on. So that's lighting. Video surfaces. Now, your options are typically projection, like projection screens with projectors, or LED walls. And in some cases with a smaller room, maybe large TVs on stands or something like that. So in this case, I'll talk about projection and LED. Projection and LED walls both still have their place. You can get a little bit more creative with LED tiles, where you can do any type of a shape. A lot of the tiles now have curves in them, so you can get curved shapes in them. You can do strange shapes, geometric shapes, or strips, or columns, or just single like fixture type looks with single tiles that add kind of set piece elements to it. So you can do a lot of cool stuff with LED tiles. But projection also still has a place. And if you're looking for large format video imagery, projection screens usually fit the bill, especially on budget projects. But there are other parts that you could also do. Projectors can do really cool things too, like projection mapping. So if you need imagery onto unconventional surfaces, so like maybe the face of a building, and you want it to turn into different images, projection mapping can do cool things like that too. So it's just understanding what, A, your budget is, and B, what you're trying to accomplish, what you want to do with it. The important thing with video surfaces, no matter what you do, make sure that you have the capacity, at least you or a partner that you're working with, that can create compelling content that takes advantage of that surface. So there's nothing worse than seeing a giant LED wall in a strange shape, and then the entire show is just this stagnant image when at the end of the day, you could have just printed something and lit it, and it would have done the same thing and been much cheaper. So make sure you're taking advantage of that surface, having graphics that are designed, moving elements, video shot in that specific format, those types of things. And your AV partner can help you with these questions and how to get the most out of those surfaces. And then to the subject of cameras. So if you've decided to record video, then there's a few questions that I kind of spoke on briefly a minute ago. So are the cameras just for IMAG, for image magnification? Are you just trying to put someone's face on the screens? Or is it just archival? It's not even IMAG. It's just we need a camera that's just a single camera of the stage, just so we have a record of it. Or is it streaming? And what type of streaming? Is it a simple like Zoom meeting, or it's just going to be a webcam thing? Or is it a high level stream where you need high res video that looks great? Or is it broadcast? That could be similar to broadcast quality. So that is the first question of like, what are you doing with the video? What is the expectation of that video? And then it comes down to how many cameras, like how many different angles are you going to need that you mix together to make a cohesive program? And that'll speak to the number of cameras that you need, the number of camera operators, and camera directors. So the creativity level needed. And then obviously your budget, what can your budget bear within that? So that's really what you're weighing with cameras. There are technicians in our industry that could geek out on the types of cameras and why you would need those types of cameras. But it really, from a planning perspective, you're looking at levels of production with all of these things. What is the level? What's the max level that you need? And then you don't really need to invest beyond that. Make sure you're not overbuying your AV resources for your event. And that can save a lot of money too. So if you understand your end game and your end goal with all these things, you can find that you can purchase with more intelligence and be able to protect your budget even better. So, often a general session's look and feel can be elevated by understanding the needs and then deploying the correct equipment. So that doesn't always mean an increase in a budget. It just means that the more research you do and the more understanding you have of these components, the better you can manage your budget and have intelligent conversations. So that's why trusting a trusted AV partner can help you navigate the needs of each unique event in your event portfolio, and why I always recommend building that relationship. So if you're planning a corporate meeting or conference and want a production partner that simplifies the AV process, visit lemg.live to learn more about us. We would love to help you. And if you've enjoyed these episodes of the Event Pro Show, you can head to theeventproshow.com where you can catch all of our back episodes where I either am sharing tips about how to work better with your AV partner from a planner's perspective, or I'm introducing you to a fantastic professional within the event space that I think you need to know. All of them are experts. They're fantastic. And I'm also excited about upcoming episodes with new guests that are coming online soon, but all of it is a resource there available for you. But either way, thank you for taking time with me today, and we'll see you on the next one. The Event Pro Show is a production of LEMG, video by Nick Barrett, audio and post-production by Prince Thompson. You can learn more about us at lemg.live.